It's time to start adding some color to our Wayne Thiebaud inspired cupcake pictures. And you can see I added some shadows down underneath my cupcakes. You can do that if you want to. And all of my pencil lines are traced with Sharpie. I am ready for color. And so one thing that we're going to practice doing, we're going to practice mixing some tints and shades. And so we get a tint when we add white to a color to make it lighter. We get a shade when we add black to a color to make it darker. And so that is all what we call value in art. And value just refers to the lightness or darkness or a color or of an object. It can of course also mean how expensive something is, but for what we're talking about now, that's what value would mean. So this is going to be kind of interesting. We are running out of white paint. So we have these white tempera cakes. We're going to use that for our white. So some of these, if they're not opened up yet, they're a little bit tricky to open, but you can try to just sort of get a hole going and then you can peel it off. I'll try to have this part done for you, but just in case I run out of time for this, because these have not been, most of them haven't been used, some of them have. So we're going to take this out, and I will have these in a little lid or something for you to use. I'm going to put this one, I'm in my basement where I make most of my videos, and I'm going to set this on a piece of foil just so I don't make a big mess. All right, and that's right there. And I have a little bowl of water to use. So I've put my paint on this lid, and there's some dried paint on there too. So I have red and black. Everything else is old dry paint. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to try to make some pink frosting. That would probably look nice on this one with the heart on it. And so I'm going to need red plus white. So I'll make a tint of red. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get some water on my brush. And on this tempera cake, it's going to be hard. It's kind of like big giant watercolor. So I'm just adding some water and just really kind of getting the paint going. I keep giving a quick dip, and I'm reaching that over my picture, which probably isn't a great idea. I should have my water over here next to it, but I'm going to just leave it like this for now. So this white paint, you're not really seeing much. You can do it a couple different ways. I'm putting some white here. Then I'm going to take a tiny, tiny bit of red and mix that in. And you can see it's mostly red. I need a lot more white. So you can see a little bit of pink happening here. And we're going to have a different kind of paint too that's going to mix a little bit better. When I'm at home, I have to use some weird supplies sometimes, but I can still kind of show you the idea of how this works. So another way, so you can really see the color that you're mixing, I'm going to get some white. I'm going to put it here on this little tray. This white over here is hard. If you're wondering why in the world am I not using that, that one is not really liquid anymore. So I'm going to get a tiny bit of this and mix that in. There you can see I've kind of made some pink. So if I'm pretty happy with that shade, or that tint, I guess I should say, of pink, I can put that on. And so you can see that this is going to be a strawberry frosting, I think. And I can just keep painting that on. I might need a little bit more. I'm going to see if I can finish this cupcake off with that. And you know, well, you may not know, but you probably know that when we are making cakes and cupcakes and things in real life, you can get frosting in any color that you can imagine. And so you could do blue, green, purple, whatever you want for that. But you can also see that by making it lighter, our details still show through a little bit. So let's say I want a darker red. Let's say I want that heart to be red but a little bit darker. This is going to be a little bit easier because our black and our red are just going to be normal paint. So I could take a tiny, our darker color is always stronger, or almost always stronger. So a little bit of that, and that's gonna make a little bit of a darker shade of red. Let's put a tiny bit more. That might also work really well for this cherry, as a matter of fact. Let's go ahead. Paint that little cherry in. Oops, I got a little bit on there. So that's a nice deep red, almost a little bit too dark. If I wanted a highlight on that, after it's all dry, I could put a little bit of white paint. I would not do that now while it's wet, because then it's going to just blend in and blur together. So if I want to make a little bit of shine on there, I could do that. So there we have my red heart. And so we're just experimenting. You can paint however you want yours to look, but we can lighten our colors with the white. We can darken our colors with the black. Or you can use some of the colors, just the pure colors if you want to. That would be totally fine too, your choice. All right, but we can paint our cupcakes. We can think about, what do we want in the background? Do we want some wallpaper? Do we want to make a tabletop with a tablecloth on there? We will see if we can look at some other examples for some ideas, but we're going to take our time and paint carefully, and we're going to have a really pretty picture when we're done.